guys, it's VJ with 5 Star. Today, I'm going to be recording a video about, well, you guys already see the toad in front of you, don't you? Today, we are going in order from lowest poly to highest poly, because, believe me, these models actually take some time to load, which you will see later in the game. I'll list the provider of these models, and, in the description below, I'll list some links. This will be my first video using links. Links, like from The Legend of Zelda. Anyways, let's get started. So it turns out, Toad is actually kind of lower poly than I actually imagined, but the provider did something big. He gave Toad actual hands, which was my favorite part about this model. This model isn't accurate, but I like it anyways, because he actually gave Toad hands. I'm pretty sure the original model, though, was higher poly than this. And actually, Toad has a jacket, and he actually has a texture below him. It might have been his beta texture, or it might have been something else added in, that he decided against later. So, we take a look at Toad, left and right, up and down. Now let's take a look at him side to side. I know left and right and side to side are the same thing, but we're just gonna go through a full 360 view of Toad. We're not going to do this because we don't need that. We're going to go in the order of polygons, which I think from lowest poly to highest poly, which I already told you that. Anyways, now we're going to do the Power Star next, which it actually has two things that are pretty cool that I want to show you. But one, I'm going to show you in this video because, the second cool thing requires editing the Power Star, which, yes, you can do. But I'm going to show that in my next video about these models. Honestly, the first time I loaded this, honestly, this time, now it looks like something from the DS for me. So anyways, you may notice that over here the star is disappearing a little bit. Why is that? Well, because the star is actually HD now for some reason. And also, I believe that this blue line right here, that's not my actual finger, this blue line right here is what's giving the illusion for this to happen. This right here. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, we're just going to return the model to its original form. And now, we're going to view it like this. For some reason, though, this effect still happens. But the star doesn't seem very, the star seems very generic and basic. Not saying that it was a bad idea for Nintendo. It was actually a pretty good idea. But the star is just so basic. Gazing into his beady little eyes. It's basic. Alright, again, we're not going to do this. And we're not going to do these top models. They are from the N64, but they're not the official Super Mario 64 models. Alright, we've done Power Star. Now let's do Boo. Then we're going to do Piranha Plant. Again, I'm judging these models not by how many polygons there are, because I didn't count them, and I didn't look them up, and I didn't make a list. I didn't prepare for the video, okay? But I know that it's going to be good, because it is. By the way, that thing I was holding, it was just a tool. So don't get any ideas, because it was just a tool. So here you can actually see that the same effect with the Power Star has with Boo, except it's not very effective this time, because Boo has a more detailed model. Anyways, you can see that Boo has a tail here, but here it's almost impossible to see his tail. If you can see his tail, then you must have really good eyesight. My reason is that because Boo, right now, he doesn't have very much shading. And no, I'm not talking about the shading down here. I'm talking about Boo's actual shading. Now, in my second video, I'll explain how to add shading into these models, kind of. Oh yeah, have we done this yet? Done. Again, the same effect applies with Boo. And look at his mouth from this angle. Look at his mouth from this angle. And again, Boo will always be upside down. Oh, but BJ Man tried in the other direction. Boo is still upside down. But the difference is, you can actually kind of see his tail from this angle, because the shading is a little better. Well, I can see his tail, but you probably can't. If you can, then you must have really good eyesight. Anyways, Boo's spinning around. I tried to find a soundtrack that every character, or mostly every character, was in. But not Super Mario 64 because I said so. Now we're done. Now we're going to move on to Piranha Plant. So, as you can see, I'm going to explain what a texture is right now. I'll also do it in my second video on these models. So what a texture is basically, let me break it down for you. A texture, think of a model as a flat, blank piece of paper. Now think of a texture as a sticker, except the texture can go in midair. Basically, what a texture is, it's basically a sticker so that the model can look pretty and they don't have to model the full-blown thing. They can just, draw it. Super Mario 3D Land. Mario's mustache is modeled like a texture. Anyways, we're going to take a look at this model, which, as you can see, the sticker that stood up in midair, you guys know that stickers are flat, right? Well, this is what Piranha Plant looks like. You can actually remove the texture on each leaf at a time. I don't know if you can remove it at both leaves at a time yet, but you can remove it each leaf at a time. Both leaves at a time would basically be impossible for me unless you could get both of those leaves to get in a suitable position which lines them up again. Basically, you have to get the leaves in a straight line to where they actually make a good appearance. Gonna leave Piranha Plant like this. Again, you can see his texture from here. Getting them both flat at the same time is nearly impossible. Now, we're going to do a full 360-degree walkthrough. Now that we've done Piranha Plant, next let's do Mario. Sorry if my hands or elbows get in the way. The only reason my hand or elbow would get in the way is because I'm using a laptop. And, like, this can be seen in my first, second, and Pikmin videos. In my first video, my second video, and my Pikmin 3 video, that I don't have a screen recorder. It can most likely be seen in my first video, or my second video, because you can see me adjusting the camera. Which, once you put it on full screen, is a pretty dizzying experience. Again, Mario turned out HD, unlike in his artwork. The first time I saw Mario get HD, I was like, aww. But anyways, this is Mario. And why, unlike the other characters, Mario doesn't have his arms spread out wide, I think it would be because the developers would probably have too much trouble, and there might be a little oval-shaped hole. So if they made that Mario model if they made the Mario model make his arms straight and flattened out, it would basically mean that there would be a little particle left, and they didn't want that. And Mario's limbs are not joined together, which is another reason connecting to that other reason I just said, that they probably didn't make his arms spread out wide. Now, as you can see, this effect applies to Mario too with the Power Star and Boo, but it applies to him very little. He does have a lot of flat colors, but only the full limbs, like his gloves and his shoes, actually apply to that. That's all I can see. It's probably so much at this point that you probably can't even see it anymore. Okay, enough playing around. Full 360-degree walkthrough of Mario. So anyways, that's that. So next, now that we've done Mario, I'm gonna do Yoshi. That was a spring. A spring shot, get it? Cause like slingshot, but it was a spring, so spring shot. I am so good. Wait, no, it wasn't a spring, it was a slinky. But is there really a difference? Spring, slinky, spring, slinky. Some people call it a spring, and most people call it a slinky. But I call it a spring because it looks like a spring. I call it a spring because it looks like a spring, and I play with it at spring because it is a spring. That was a lot of springs. Wait, does that mean all 4 seasons are gonna be spring? Spring? Ooh, yeah, Yoshi. Now, this is the part that comes in that's useful when with my poor lighting. And yes, I have a light turned on for your information. Yoshi is actually pretty light, and I can kind of barely see him. But he's a little bit darker from what you guys see, and so that doesn't mean you're having the light trouble that I am. It's not really trouble, it's just that the lighting I decided that would go best with Yoshi didn't really fit with him. Luckily, this camera adjusts that. That's video editing that I don't have to do. Yes, controlling Yoshi does in fact mean that you can make him dance. You can make Yoshi dance, and you can make him dance whatever dance he wants. Not just any hand or feet movements, and probably no head movements either. Well, you can do this. It kind of makes him look like he's tapping his foot and shaking his head. But now you might be saying, I know, BJ Man, there's a problem. Yeah, there actually is. The problem is that Yoshi, I forgot what I was going to say. Perhaps there isn't a problem. Except for the good lighting. Oh, okay, I'm just kidding. We've gotten a full 360-degree turn of Yoshi. Now let's open a new project. Okay, now, let's see. We've done Yoshi. So next, we're going to do, Thwomp. After that, we're doing Bowser, then Princess Peach. She's one of the tallest models in the game by, my standards. And yes, I'm comparing these by size, because if they're tall, they probably use more polygons. And if they're short, they probably use less polygons. So anyways, we're going to take a look at Thwomp. Which he isn't much of a cube that you'd expect. His face texture is pretty small, which makes him not really much of a cube. But still, he's good. He doesn't exactly fit in with the rest when he's not viewing his face, but the advantage is that at the bottom, he actually has a flat pane there to help him crush his enemies. Which at the top, oh, it's spiky. I'm pretty sure Mario wouldn't like the top more than the bottom, but probably once in one of my first or second videos, I've probably gone on Thwomp's head at least once. Hey, but what if the spiky side were the one that crushes him? Oh, Thwomp doesn't like that. What you doing, Thwomp? Hanging. Okay, again, full 360-degree view of Thwomp. Again, this effect still applies to Thwomp when he goes like out of this white board right here, but it applies to him very little, and plus it doesn't even happen up here. So I think we can just say that Thwomp might be the last character model that happens to that in this video. Now we're gonna do, like we did with Mario, and then we did Yoshi, we're gonna do the one right next to Thwomp. Bowser, Mario's arch nemesis. Dory is gonna be one of the last models. After Princess Toadstool, we're doing the logo, which unfortunately doesn't have any color. In my next video, I'll introduce a Mario head with color. I'll make sure of that. It's my #1 priority so far. Bowser is taking a very long time to load. Next we might do Koopa Troopa, then Princess Toadstool. I know some of you are impatient to see Princess Toadstool. Say, dear Mario, please come to the castle. I baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool Peach. But if you want to see that, you can really go to my first video, you know. There's a link in the description below. So that way you don't have to search all over the internet maze, looking it up, finding something else, and it's not by me, and you're like, oh dang it, it's not by him. And you don't even find it. Around the back of Bowser's shell looks nice, but I'm not gonna pause at the angles, which in fact you can do. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, I mean like, let go of the button that I'm holding, which will make him stop here. But instead we're just going to do that. His shell looks kind of better from above. If they ever made a Super Mario 64 Part 2, this would be Bowser's new attack. Tail Swipe. Bowser flips himself up. And again, something I noticed, Bowser's lip around here actually looks like the sand texture for Super Mario 64. Maybe Bowser doesn't have that much, maybe Bowser doesn't not have similarities with Peach after all. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either. Good news, we're doing Koopa Troopa now. This one will probably take less time to load, or more. It'll probably take a close time to Bowser's, which, if you are actually counting, and I wasn't, it probably will, because Bowser is kind of just a reskin of Koopa Troopa. They use the same textures. I don't think they use the same shell textures. They probably don't. This is Koopa Troopa. He looks sad, kind of, to me. I'm sorry for stealing your show, but at least you got to be on BJ Man on 5 Stars channel twice. Or should I say, 3 times. Alright. I think they share the same shell texture, except Koopa Troopa's shell texture is kind of lighter than Bowser's. Again, Koopa Troopa has model's hands, which I don't think he has in the game. He probably does, but it's hard to see. Koopa the Quick and Koopa Troopa look exactly the same. And from this angle, he kind of looks like he has green slippers on, like the ones you'd wear in the morning. Nevertheless, let's stop going left and right. Let's begin going up and down. Hey, his shoes aren't dirty. From running around, racing with Mario, running away from Mario, trying to grab his shell, doing all that, his shoes aren't even dirty. I mean, who would expect that? It's nearly impossible to see the bottom of his shoe, so why would they put that? They did put that in a later game that I made a video about. Link in the description below. Obviously not Super Mario 64. But you'll probably never get a chance to see that either. A YouTuber, actually, never mind. I'm not going to mention him. Okay, now let's do the 360-degree rotation. Whoa. He looks like he's like, one of those hippies, but he's a Koopa Troopa. He looks like a hippie, but he's a Koopa Troopa. If you flip him upside down, he actually kind of looks like a hippie. So, now, I've got to keep my promise. We're doing Womp first. Now, we're doing Womp first, then Princess Toadstool. Womp will probably take less longer to load, and Princess Toadstool will probably take longer. So I'll do Womp first, for your convenience. the last model in the game that we're going to be doing is going to be Big Bob-omb Battlefield. Because this model is the highest poly model that I could find. Depending on the time, it depends on the time whether or not we'll cover Big Bob-omb Battlefield. What's interesting about this photo, what's interesting about this one is that there's another small womp. If you guys don't see it, it's all the way down here. Follow the cursor. It's all the way down here, but we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about the bigger one, because obviously I shrank that one down for a reason. But anyways, enough 2D talk. Let's get rotating. Again, this applies to almost every spherical object in the game, besides Chain Chomp. His hands are a texture. Why? Because they're a perfect circle. And yes, this does mean, I don't know what it means. But if Wump were originally going to grab you, he would probably be too much similar to the original Bob-omb King. Plus, people would probably notice the texture difference. And Nintendo was smart enough to make it look like you can view his hands at both at the same angle and make them disappear. But you actually can't, because his hands are bent up and down a little. The smaller Womp is jealous. He should be glad that he was at least mentioned in this video. He shouldn't be ungrateful. Now we're going to open a new one. And I kept my promise. We're going to do Princess Peach. Okay guys, that ends the first part of the video. Now we're going to do some of the higher poly models. And don't worry. The models, there's not many more models to do. After Princess Peach, we're doing a surprise. Anyways, we're gonna do her 360-degree rotation. Something that I actually found interesting about Princess Peach, though. We finished the rotation here, so I want to get to this rotation. Princess Peach actually doesn't even have legs. Which I don't think she was ever intended to have legs. So we really shouldn't point that out because she probably didn't intend to have legs. But even if she was going to be a possible character, which is a possible option, she probably was never going to have legs. And if they ever made an N64 version of Super Princess Peach, then yeah, they just take this model, add legs, or create a whole entirely different model, and yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with them taking this model from the game if they ever decide to make an N64 version. But, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna do Dory. If you guys don't know who Dory is, no, I'm not talking about the fish from Finding Dory, the movie, or Finding Nemo. I'm talking about Dory, the blue thingamajiggy, dinosaur majiggy. In one of my videos, she was probably there. And again, this looks like something from the DS version with its pixelated textures. You guys probably can't see that, but I can. Anyways, this is Dory. She's still blue. Comedy joke. And if you grab Dory's head, her neck actually goes lower so you can climb on her. Just an interesting fact I thought I'd throw in there. And no, these things are not textures. These aren't textures because they're fully modeled. like Mario's mustache in Super Mario 3D Land. This model is probably the one with the least textures. Okay, so you might think the blueness on Dory's back with is a texture, by the way, which is spelled with an I-E, with an I-E instead of a Y. But actually, that's not a texture. There are two different types of textures. Well, not really textures, but there are two different types of colors. Flat colors and textures. Basically, what a texture is like a sticker, and when a flat color is like a piece of construction paper. So basically, what a flat color would be, it'd be like this. Never mind. The paper's not even yellow anymore. Anyways, you guys get my idea, don't you? Now, we've done Dory, so we're going... But I think Mario's head is one of the highest poly models in the game, which is actually 3D. So, after we do Princess Toadstool's castle, and I was lying when I said Big Bob-omb Battlefield was the last model we're going to be doing today, because I didn't exactly consider the fact that Mario's head is higher poly than the castle or the level itself. And no, Big Bob-omb Battlefield does not include the boxes. It doesn't include the coins either, or the enemies. The boxes aren't really natural. That's just a flagpole. It's a flagpole that I'm waving around while I wait for this huge castle to load, which unfortunately, as you saw in its picture, doesn't have any color. In my next video, I'll try and add color to these models. And if you guys, when the color comes, if you guys are watching this video, you know what? Never mind. And this is actually a pretty big model, so we're gonna zoom in on it. Okay, we're not gonna zoom in that close. But I want to go show you guys something else of interest. So this is Peach's Castle 360-degree turn, which actually looks kind of weird since the map was slanted, unfortunately. Fortunately, well, I was lying when I said fortunately, but there's something of interest that I want to point out. I'll point it out in my next video. For now, you'll just have to wait. Anyways, done that. We've been there, done that. Now it's time to turn it. Which I will reset it to its neutral position. And it actually looks pretty weird without any color. It's one of the first models in the game that doesn't have color. We're going to try and reset it to its neutral position. This should be good. And then we're done. So we're going to open another one. So now we're going to do Big Bob-omb Battlefield, which actually has color. So you guys want to see some light? Okay, that's enough light for now. Hey guys, I bet you that you can go downstairs or wherever your kitchen is, get some popcorn, and you can take your time too. Come back upstairs, and it'll either be done or still loading. Do it now! If you aren't able to do it, or you're just still watching. If you're please still watching, send in the word Battlefield. Oh man, it is HD. Sorry if you guys missed this. But it is missing a lot of its textures, and it mostly has flat colors. There used to be a texture right here, but it's gone for some reason. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to view it like this. Unfortunately. And nothing of interest under the stage except these spots where it spawns cannons. You can actually see some secret tunnels here, which I'll talk about in my next video. And wow. The level is mostly green and brown from up here. And like, it's nothing else but green and brown from up here. And we're going far out. Okay. I'm going to try and reset it to its neutral position. It means original. Okay, now we're going to do the last model in the game. We're going to do the last model so far, which is one of the highest poly models in the game. It is Mario's big face. When I first heard about the Super Mario 64 being low poly, I was like, how was this achieved? And I don't think Mario's ears are joined together in this game. This is one of my longest videos. Oh yeah, it finally loaded. In my next video, I'll finish this video with some models of color. So, this is Mario. Around the back, you can see he actually has pretty good modeled hair. And you can't see what separates his hat from its actual head, but this is all I have for now. And we're going far out. All far out. Mario's head honestly looks like it's made of clay. Alright guys, that's it for today. So, that was it for today. I will find out who provided these models, put some links in the description below. So, that will be it for today. Signing off, BJ Maryland 5-star.